you're in the States. You've been doing camp, well, the rest of your camp, the last part of your camp in the States, but you were just in Las Vegas for International Fight Week. How was that, man? Because they haven't had one since what, the pre-pandemic, right?
Yeah, I believe so. I'm not sure. Maybe they had one 2021, but I think it was like really restricted. It wasn't as big as it was now, and now it was awesome. It was my first time over there, and I don't know, having that energy. The fans. It was just special, especially after all this pandemic and being away so long from the fans. Even though I fought some cards that had crowd. Uh, I don't know. I didn't have that day to day, energy from the fans. So to be there, get their support, know that they have my back and that they're supporting me for all my fights and for everything I've been doing. It was awesome for sure.
Any fan that stuck out to you during the International Fight Week that you met?
I mean, there were a lot of them that were awesome, but there was one I'm not gonna remember his name right now, but he came in with a picture of my fight shirt that I wear on UFC 205, and that was special, to have somebody like have memorabilia like that of the first card in Madison Square Garden. It was a great night of fights. And to have somebody, show me that they have that, they bought that, and they keep it at home, it was awesome.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Yeah, get that energy from the fans, charges you up. Now you got this fight coming up, Jeff Neal. You actually called him out a few years back after UFC 249. You beat Nico Price, and then like right afterwards, you were like, I want to get matched up with Jeff Neal. What makes this fight so intriguing to you?
I think it's a fight that at some point it was gonna happen. It just our styles match up really good, and I don't know. It's a fight that excites me. It just gives me that idea. Like I know the kind of fighter he is, and I know the kind of fighter I am. We're gonna go out there. We're gonna try to test who can hit harder, who's gonna get hit harder and still fight and get that knockout. So it's the kind of fight that excites me a lot, and I think now is the perfect time. I'm coming off a fight that didn't go my way, that didn't go as I wanted to, but I came out of that fight 100%. I had no injuries. I was feeling good, ready to get back to training. So that's what I did. Got right back in there and got to get a good matchup. A fight that excites me, that challenges me. So definitely, I think it's the perfect timing for it right now.
Yeah, let's get into that last fight against Bilal Muhammad. You mentioned that you came out of that fight without injuries. When you fight, usually if you get beat, you're pretty beat up. You know what I mean? That's what's like the result of getting beat up. But that wasn't the case. When you look back at that fight, how much frustration do you have with the performance?
Man, I have a lot of frustration when I look at that fight. And for some different reasons, I think that I could have been much more aggressive than I was, and I was kind of overcautious and not at all taking out credits, of Bilal. He went in there with a perfect game plan to beat me, and he applied it, as well as he could. I rocked him in the third round. He kept his composure and kept on doing what he had planned to do. And I was surprised, I got surprised, I think, by not realizing that maybe this is a path that guys are going to start uh, trying to explore against me. And I got to be ready for that. And when I say I got to be ready for that, I think that I got to stop focusing so much on what they're going to do against me and focus on what I'm capable of doing inside that octagon. I know that I could put the pressure and bring the pace to a different level. And that's what I have to do every single fight. So I thought that I was maybe too strategical, a little bit too into that. Like, okay, it's 5 rounds. I got to kind of pace myself a little bit to see it was the first time in there. And once the fight was done, I'm like, man, I could have fought, just like I always fight, and it would have been at least better than what it was. I don't know if I would get the win or not. I think I would, but it would have definitely been better than what how it went. I couldn't find my distance. I was overthinking, So I don't know things that happen, but definitely lessons learned, and I think that this will take me to the next level, which is what I need to get, to go for that title eventually.
You mentioned that you're overthinking and you're worried more about what he was gonna do. But actually, that has worked for you for many years. You know what I mean? You've been finishing guys with that approach. Was it hard to kind of realize that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It was a different fight, you know. It didn't. It's like I'm used to guys coming and fighting in the sense that they're gonna try to finish me somehow. And many times that's where I shine because if we're in the pocket, if we're in an exchange, be it standing up or being on the ground, I know that I have the tools to put anybody in danger. But once somebody wants to fight me in a way where they're gonna kind of put points and do the right moves to avoid my dangerous zones, and then just try to make the perfect fight against me. Let's say not let me find my distance and then get me to the ground, control me, and make those points. That's something that I had never kind of lived through in the way that Bilal did it. You know, he moves really well. I couldn't find his distance standing up. I connected some shots, but nothing that would steal the rounds for real to my advantage. And at the end of the rounds, he got me down. And at the end of the day, this is the game we play. You know, I do want to go out there and always fight as I do, and I think that's what I have to do. To not worry if it's 5 rounds, if it's 3 rounds, if it's point, just go out there and try to finish that guy. And that's what I think is gonna bring me the victory, you know?
You go from Bilal style to Neal style. Neal is a striker. He has power. He mirrors you in that way. How do you rate his striking, his diversity of striking?
I think he's really I would say kind of like me in the sense like he's not super flashy, but he's really good at what he does. You know, he sticks to the basics and does that really well. He's a southpaw, so that's always tricky. That's something I'm really focusing on, and yeah, I would rate him as really good. You know, really good striker. I don't know. I'm not gonna go from. I don't have a grade for him, but I would say like I consider him a really good striker in the division, and definitely a really dangerous with that his left hand and his left kick. I would say that they are the most dangerous tools he has, and whenever it's not like he throws them all the time, but he has perfect timing for them. So that's what I gotta be aware of, and just make sure I keep the distance, I keep control of my guard, and avoid those big shots. And other than that, man, I think it's gonna be a slugfest because a guy like him is a guy that pumps me up. You know, I want to test myself against a guy like that. You know, if even if I get punched or kicked in the face, I want to feel how that's gonna be, and if I can stand it, and if I can take him out of that octagon eventually.
The ground game, you know what I mean? The submission game, that's something that you've implemented in the past, you know, when the opportunities have come. Do you think that that would be the difference maker in this fight?
I think it can be definitely. Either way, if I can get to the ground, like maybe I hurt him and he wants to try to take me down, or I don't know, some kind of scramble, some kind of situation. We do get to the ground. I always have tools. My darts and my anacondas are already known. That's something that I've been successful with. But I do have other things that I've been working on, and eventually, hopefully, if I get to those situations, I will be able to show other submissions that I have, ready against my opponents. But definitely, I think that's the base of my kind of like my MMA game or whatever it is. I'm dangerous anywhere, and that's what I always focus on being. I might not be that guy that can take a fight strategically into the points and make sure that I every round score what I need to score to get a decision. But every round I can finish you. Every round I can put you in danger. And maybe it's gonna be 6 seconds, missing for the end of the fight, but I can make that finish happen. And that's what I've been focusing even more after my last fight.
To me, that's so interesting. Is like certain fighters, they just have this ability to finish fights. It doesn't matter what level that they're fighting at. It could be at the highest, it could be at the lowest. They just know how to finish fights. And other guys, they just win decision after decision after decision. Where does that come from, do you think? Is it just from sparring so much, or is it just from experience? Where does it come from, this finishing ability?
I don't know. I would say it's many things put together. In my case, I would say big part of it is the way I look at fighting and what I enjoy in it. I always had fun fighting. I always had fun kind of like going out there and testing myself against another guy. And the way I see is sometimes I want to get hit and see if I can get hit by that guy and then hit him and see if he can, withstand what I'm gonna bring. So it's kind of like a level of competition where it's not. I don't only want to get the win, but I want to test myself, see if I'm harder than that guy, if I can stand more, and I have more heart than that guy. So that's something that makes kind of my fights be the way they are because I want to go out there and I want to create chaos. I want to make it into a war and be able to get out of it as the winner of that war. So I think that's a big thing. And also like I've been blessed with really a lot of durability, ability to withstand shots and heavy hands. So I think that also kind of plays in favor of that, and it has always been my style since the beginning of my career. I would hit people and people would feel them. I would get knockouts, and that's just how I built my style.
Training camp, you spent the first part at Cerrado in Brazil, and then the second part at Sanford. Is it Killcliff Fight Club now, or do we call it
Killcliff,
Sanford? We kill it
yeah.
Killcliff
I
Fight Club.
mean, yeah, it's now it's Killcliff Fight Club. We're in that transition. Soon the gym is gonna be all remodeled, and yeah, it's. I mean, from what Henry and all the guys have said, it's gonna be an awesome improvement to what we already had, which is awesome, and yeah, I'm looking forward for that. And yeah, split it up. Serrano MMA, I did about 5 weeks over there, and now my last 4 weeks for this fight over here at Killcliff Fight Club. And yeah, it's gonna be. I just feel like I've been a while out of here, and I needed to feel this energy. I needed to feel the mat full of 170 guys, a lot of top 15s in the UFC, a lot of guys, fighting in Bellator, guys that have the title, guys that are gonna eventually fight for a title in big shows. I think that's kind of like the energy I needed to feel again, and just to bring that competition out of me again. Like it was in the beginning. I think once the journey is I've been in this journey for a while in the UFC, and I was kind of like so focused on, okay, let's get the next win, let's get closer to that title. I stopped kind of enjoying a little bit of the process, stopped competing against the guys at the gym, and in a healthy way. I'm not trying to hurt anybody, but just feel that pleasure for training and pleasure for trying to be the best guy in training, and that's what I get over here. I do get it in Serrado MMA as well, but I had been there for too long, without coming over here and having a training camp over here. So I felt like this was the moment, and it's going great. I'm enjoying it a lot. Henry has been giving me a lot of tips and a lot of knowledge, especially in striking, which is my main thing. And me and Henry click very well on that. Also, Greg will be cornering me for the next fight, and his wrestling is amazing, and that's something that always is gonna help me on my MMA game. So yeah, I'm enjoying the time over here a lot.
You're facing a southpaw, so who are the southpaws that have been helping you out?
So I've been working with Denny Hot Chocolate. He's a great southpaw, good striker, and also with Sato. Sato's gonna be fighting the same day as I am, August 6th. So we're kind of in that same, timeline. We're both in shape, cutting weight, getting leaner, getting quicker. So that's also a guy that is helping me a lot, and he's a southpaw. So mainly these two guys. Another guy that I've been working with, especially because he's a really, really strong guy, is Ange. Ange, he's gonna be fighting, I believe, August 20th. So he's also on training camp. So these three guys have been helping me a lot.
Phenomenal. And after the disappointment that you had in your last fight, how do you expect to bounce back? Because after a loss, you always bounce back in spectacular fashion.
Man, I don't know. I hate losing. I hate losing, and that's something that I don't. It doesn't make me so like I don't kind of get mad at myself, but I just feel like I have to. My next fight has to be 10 times better. I just have to come. I come with a vengeance for against my next opponent, whoever it is. So I definitely expect a great fight. I'm gonna be there, in the best shape ever. That's for sure because I've been working a lot on everything that I've always been, and I've been watching my fights again. Back from the first fight in the UFC all the way to my last one. The fight against Bilal, I studied it so much, kind of trying to see whatever I can improve, and yeah, I know that at this point in my career, I'm evolving every single day, every single fight. I'm at the best point in my career ever, so I know it's gonna be an awesome performance, and I'm excited to go out there and put another great one for the fans.
August 6th, man. UFC Fight Night. Vicente, thank you so much for the time. Jeff Neal, you. And there's nothing else to say, man. It's gonna be a crazy fight. Let's see what happens. Thank you so much, man, for the time.
Thank you, I appreciate it. I thank also all the fans, that always support me and have my back. And as always, I'm gonna go out there and look to put on the best show. Look for that finish every single second of the fight, and hopefully get another big win and move on towards that title.